Hey, Minimum Effort here, and in this video we have got two decks for you for Amiga Sentinel. This is the second card that I've picked up this week. The first one was Moira X that was in the previous video, and in this video, yeah, we've got two really good decks for you for Amiga Sentinel. So Amiga Sentinel is a 4-cost 3-power card with the activate ability Afflict the highest power enemy card with -7 power. So first of all, it's important to note that it's not the highest power enemy card in the same lane as Amiga Sentinel. It is just at the point where you activate Amiga Sentinel, it will target whatever the highest power enemy card is anywhere on the board, and it will take 7 power away from that card. So this card is kind of a 4-10, even though that power is kind of split across potentially 2 lanes. But I really like this card. That -7 power is really good, and in these decks it does actually make a really big difference. We've got gameplay highlights for you where Amiga Sentinel is winning games for us with its ability. So yeah, I was very excited by this card. I had the choice between either this card or Sparky. I've gone for Amiga Sentinel because I've played a lot of Move lately. One of my recent decks was a Stardust Move deck, and I haven't played Affliction for a long time, and playing Affliction, I really like Affliction. It's just a very reliable deck, I find. And yeah, Amiga Sentinel really adds something to those decks. So yeah, let's take a look at the first deck we're going to play. So this is our Affliction deck. It's called Amiga Red Numbers because you've got Amiga Sentinel, and because with Affliction you want to turn your opponent's power numbers red. Is Amiga Red in this deck? No, don't be silly, that card's awful. So yeah, this is kind of your Affliction deck. Amiga Sentinel has taken the place of Malekith, and I actually prefer it to Malekith in this type of deck. I think if you're playing the Wiccan version that has Quicksilver and Domino, then Malekith is potentially better because you're more likely to pull a better cost and therefore power card. But because we are not playing Quicksilver and Domino, we're playing Zabu, Scorpion and USA Gentleman. That is kind of giving us a bit more flexibility to say, okay, yeah, we can play Amiga Sentinel, and this card really makes a difference. So yeah, let's kind of run through this deck. There are kind of a lot of standard Affliction decks, cards that you'll see, but yeah, this is what we're running. So we're running Zabu because we have 4 4-cost cards. Check them quickly: Amiga Sentinel, Laufey, Anti-Venom, and Man-Thing. So ideally what you want to do is play... Oh, I've gone too far. There we go. Ideally what you want to do is play Zabu on turns 1 or 2. Yes, you have Scorpion. You don't necessarily have to play Scorpion if you have Hazmat. If you don't have Hazmat, you probably want to play Scorpion, but Zabu, certainly on turn 1, of course. But on turn 2, like if the choice is between Zabu or Scorpion and you have Hazmat in your hand, and you still have some 4-cost cards in your deck, I think Zabu is actually the preferable choice. You play Zabu, you get those costs down, and the reason for that is those 4-cost cards going down to 3 gives you better options on turn 6. Because turn 5 you probably want to play Ajax if you can, and then turn 6 you're looking at doing something like Hazmat or Luke Cage plus something else. And yeah, the more options you have for that turn 6 play, the more, the better you will be able to kind of predict what your opponent's going to do, and do you have those cards to deal with it. So yeah, Zabu works really well for that. Getting that cost reduction is really important. Scorpion, like I say, anytime you're able to afflict cards in your opponent's hand with -1 power is good. Like Scorpion on turn 2, really good for Affliction decks. So yeah, like I say, if you do have Hazmat, you can potentially play Zabu instead. But yeah, Scorpion on turn 2, you do not mind that at all. Even if you're playing Scorpion on other turns, if you're playing Scorpion on turn 5, it's not the worst thing in the world if you're playing that with a good 3-cost card. So yeah, Scorpion, a pretty good card in this deck. USA Gentleman, you can potentially drop this card. I'm not sure at the moment precisely what else you'd put in, just because we really need it to be a 2-cost card. You could play something like Surge just to kind of get more power in cards and cheaper cards. That's something you can do. But with USA Gentleman, it kind of gives you the flexibility to say, okay, on turns 5 and 6, what has your opponent played on turn 4, for example. If they've played a 4-cost card on turn 4, turn 5 you can drop USA Gentleman into that lane with one of your other 3-cost cards. That's pretty good. Obviously Ajax is preferable on turn 5. If you don't have Ajax, there are other things you can do to win this game. You do not need Ajax to win, and USA Gentleman is one of those options to try and win without Ajax. So yeah, it's a good card, it's a strong card, and I love this variant. But yeah, you could potentially take it out for something else. Luke Cage you cannot take out. Luke Cage is very key for keeping your own card's power. There are games sometimes where you don't play Luke Cage because you're trying to get Ajax as big as possible in a certain lane, and you have the other cards in another lane that you're trying to get as big as possible, but in different ways. There's different ways and combos to win with this deck. But yeah, more often than not, you want to play Luke Cage to protect your own cards. If you have Laufey, you probably want to play Laufey before you play Luke Cage on turn maybe 5 or 6, because then you're getting as much power for Laufey as possible before Luke Cage gives that power back to your own cards. Red Guardian is great tech in this deck, but also obviously it's afflicting a lowest power enemy card with -2 power and taking the ability away. Red Guardian's key, really key in this deck. There's a lot of times where it hits something that is really key for your opponent, and yeah, Red Guardian, a very key card in this deck. There are times I had a particular game where I had the option of playing Amiga Sentinel or Red Guardian, but the right target was for Red Guardian to hit. I think if there is never a choice to play Red Guardian and target something that's very important for your opponent, do it, take it out, and then you've got the other cards that you can win the rest of the game with. So yeah, really love Red Guardian in this deck. Diamondback is an absolute sleeper in this deck. I think this is probably one of the most underappreciated cards in Marvel Snap. There are games where on turn 6, if you've played Ajax on turn 5, you've got other cards that you've played down before. Turn 6, you play Hazmat and Diamondback in one lane that's not the Ajax lane, and that flips the lane for you. I've seen it happen. I did a lot of testing with this deck, and there are a lot of games that you win that you might think you're going to lose. Yeah, Diamondback is an absolute lane stealer. Really love this card. And Hazmat, of course, absolutely key for Affliction decks. It's a shame it's not a 2-cost card anymore, but you can still do a lot with this card on turn 6, which is the ideal turn you want to play it. And the combos with Hazmat are obviously Hazmat and Diamondback, like we just said. Hazmat and Luke Cage to give your cards their power back. Hazmat and one of the reduced cost 4-cost cards from Zabu, whether it's Man Thing, whether it's Laufey on a lane where there's lots of cards. It wouldn't be Amiga Sentinel on turn 6, obviously, because that's a waste. You wouldn't be able to use that ability, and it probably wouldn't be Anti-Venom. You want to play those cards before. But yeah, Hazmat, a lot of really good options to kind of pair with in this deck. And yeah, Hazmat is such a good card for making Ajax as big as possible. Amiga Sentinel, like I say, is not often, like sometimes you'll get to turn 3 or 4 with your reduced cost cards if you have them. And it's important when you get to this stage, like, what else do you have in your hand? What else do you have in your deck? There are times where, okay, if you've got Amiga Sentinel and you've got Anti-Venom, you might think, okay, which card do I play here? If you still have your bigger cards in your deck, you probably want to play Anti-Venom because you've got more of a chance of making one of those cards 0 cost, and that is going to be more beneficial for you for the next couple of turns. But Amiga Sentinel, like you'll see in the gameplay highlights, Amiga Sentinel steals cubes. It's a real good card, particularly in this deck, particularly targeting that highest power card, getting that power down. Because I think with Ajax decks in particular, yes, you want Ajax to go big, and then you're trying to win that other lane. And if you can target the card with Amiga Sentinel, you've got a really good chance of doing that. So yeah, I really like this card. And the next card is Laufey. Laufey is another very strong card. Obviously, yeah, you're looking to get this card as big as possible. If you do have Luke Cage and you can get the power stolen from Laufey back onto those cards in that lane, that's really good. But sometimes you're just playing Laufey and it's hitting your own cards and it's hitting the opponent's cards and it's just getting big. Laufey is kind of one of those other ways where if you do not draw Ajax, Laufey you want to try and get as big as possible, because that is then your kind of other stat stick that you're looking to win one lane and then do other Affliction shenanigans in the other to win. And yeah, Anti-Venom, I love Anti-Venom. I need to start testing Anti-Venom in other decks, because I think having that on reveal ability of like setting the cost and power to something that's 0, it's the cost. It's getting that really good card out for 0 cost. So yeah, I want to do some other testing with Anti-Venom, but particularly in this deck, I think you want to play Anti-Venom. Like I say, you can see what's in your deck. I recommend getting a deck tracker. If you don't have one, I use Untapped, or at least having a copy of your deck. If you're serious about playing this game and you don't have a deck tracker as you're playing it, try to have a copy, even if it's just a paper and pen. Write down your deck list so that when you have Anti-Venom, you can see what is left in your deck. You know what the targets are. You can see, do I have good high cost targets that I would like to be 0? If I've got a lot of low cost cards in the deck still, I probably don't want to play Anti-Venom. I want to play something else. So yeah, really recommend doing that. But yeah, Anti-Venom has really good targets in this deck and is a very powerful card. 4/7 is good power. Do not mind that at all. And yeah, like I say, if you can get this card cheaper with Zabu, that's really good too. Man-Thing, yeah, great. If you're playing cards, if you're playing decks that are playing a lot of low-cost cards, Man-Thing ruins their day. In particular, if you're playing something like Brood or something like that, that's a really good lane to target with Man-Thing, because it's going to reduce that power as much as possible. Yeah, there's a lot of things that Man-Thing can do to win you the game. Really, really good card. It's kind of if you can also obviously reduce it to 3 cost with Zabu, even better. Turn 6, that's a real surprise drop to drop Man-Thing on a lane where your opponent might not be expecting it. And yeah, obviously if you can pair Man-Thing with Luke Cage at some point, obviously that protects those 1, 2 and 3 cost cards in your own lane. But yeah, really, really like Man-Thing, and I also really like this variant. And then Ajax, obviously Ajax is the kind of the stat stick in this deck. This is the card that you want to get as big as possible. And yes, Shang-Chi exists, so you do obviously have to be careful. But like I say, you can win games without Ajax in this deck. It's still a very, very strong card. You can get this card very big, up to near 20 power a lot of the time. Yeah, Ajax is very, very good. So yes, this is the Affliction deck. I've had a nice run with this so far. I think I'm about like a 62% win rate at the moment. Yeah, there's a few potential changes you can do. If you don't have Diamondback, you can probably play Cassandra Nova. That's a really good substitution, because yeah, kind of those turn 3, if you don't have Diamondback, yeah, you're looking to play kind of Luke Cage, Red Guardian if there is a good Red Guardian target, or if you do have Cassandra Nova, that's obviously a good turn to drop Cassandra Nova. There is still a bit of Arisham out there. There's still a bit of extra cards potentially out there that you can use and get good targets with Cassandra Nova, but ultimately in this deck, Cassandra Nova is afflicting your opponents. That's why it's the 13th card, I think, in this deck. But yeah, other substitutions, Red Guardian. If you don't have Red Guardian, you're looking for a bit of tech. Maybe something like Mobius, Mobius, maybe Cosmo to kind of protect your Ajax, and then you're trying to win another lane. That's potentially something you can do. But yeah, I think the rest of the cards are pretty set. Like if you don't have Laufey and you have Malekith, you could potentially do that. Malekith is the same substitution for Anti-Venom and Man-Thing, but I think most people probably have Man-Thing. But yeah, Omega Sentinel works really well in this deck, as you'll see. So yeah, this is the Affliction deck, and now I've got a very fun, crazy deck for you. So this deck is called Chaos Magic, and as you can see, there's a lot going on. Ultimately, what we're trying to do is use Sersei or the Polymorph spell from Merlin to make our cards better. And we've got a lot of cards that we have really, really good targets to do that. And Omega Sentinel fits in this deck because if you can play Omega Sentinel on turn 4, you can activate it on turn 5, and then you can either drop a Sersei or a Polymorph onto it on either of the next 2 turns, and change it from a 4-cost card to a 5-cost card. And that's a big difference. That's basically 7 power away from a card on your opponent's side of the board, and then you're changing this card to hopefully something that's much better in terms of power output. Because yeah, 4/3, while it's not a great power stat line, obviously changing it to a 5-cost card, you've got a lot more potential for a lot more kind of damage. So yeah, there's a few cards in this deck that we're trying to do that for, actually. So we've got the Hood, Mysterio clones, the Void from Sentry. So there are targets that we want to kind of upgrade those cards and make them better. Or of course we have a Nihilus that we can send them over. That's kind of the main thing that we're trying to do with this deck. So yeah, Hood is obviously great because we can use Hood, get a demon, and then we can either use a Nihilus, send the Hood over to the other side of the board, or we can use the spells from Merlin to either remove Hood from the board and get extra energy, or polymorph it into a 2-cost card, hopefully something better. But yeah, Hood, getting that demon is really good. Zabu again, because just going back, the 4-cost cards that we have are Jubilee, Omega Sentinel, Shang-Chi and Sentry. So again, 4 cards that we have really good targets for. So yeah, Zabu again, very good to kind of target those cards. Just try and make those last few turns get as much good stuff as you can out onto the board with that. Surge is a little bit flexible. I like Surge, just again getting cost down is very important. Yes, it's good to have nice power as well, but for me it's cost. It's getting that cost down for these cards, having more options to do stuff in this deck, particularly because those 1-cost spells from Merlin are very good in this deck, and it gives you more option to play them and then play other cards with them that if you hadn't reduced their cost you wouldn't be able to do. So yeah, really like Surge in this deck. Merlin, very good card in this deck, very strong. Yeah, those abilities are very good for not only upgrading your cards, not only getting extra energy, but if your opponent's playing Magic, as we will see in one of the gameplay highlights, turning off that Limbo on turn 6 as a kind of surprise. Obviously they might expect it coming if Merlin's on the board already, but yeah, doing that, turning that Limbo off and winning the game on turn 6, really good to do. Mysterio, again, Mysterio is going to create those clones for you that you can get off the board, you can upgrade them, blah blah blah. So yeah, Mysterio is good for that. Yeah, later on in the game, obviously not best, you want to get Mysterio out as early as possible. But yeah, if you have Merlin, you want to get Merlin down on the board first. Lunar Snow is great just for that extra energy. Like I say, if you can get costs down from cards and you can get extra energy, it's just more options for you to do stuff. It's also, you can potentially get rid of the Ice Cube and turn it into something else, but you'd probably want to do that on the final turn of the game, because obviously, yeah, you want that extra energy for as long as possible. But yeah, Lunar Snow at 3/6, excellent power as well. Jubilee is kind of a wild card in this deck. Jubilee is basically saying, okay, if I haven't got any of my good power big cards that I want by turn 4 or even later, I can drop Jubilee and hope that something will happen. Jubilee is very much a Hail Mary. You can probably replace it with something else, but I actually like Jubilee because, again, like if you can use Zabu, get Jubilee down to a 3 cost, that's really good. Turn 6 then, that means you can do Jubilee plus something else. As a kind of, if you need to get Sersei on the board, if you need to get a Nihilus out to kind of move cards onto your opponent's side, it's one last chance to do that. And Jubilee's very good for that. And yeah, like I say, even sometimes Jubilee will pull Omega Sentinel, and that's good too, because then that's a free, essentially a 10 power card that you've pulled, and then potentially Jubilee. You can then upgrade that card with Polymorph and Sersei. You can take it off the board if you need to get that extra energy. So yeah, there's versatile things that you can do with Jubilee. And then yeah, Omega Sentinel, like I say, Omega Sentinel, get it on the board, activate it, upgrade it to something else. That's ideally what you want to do. You don't really want to do once in future to get it off the board. You want to upgrade this with Polymorph or with Sersei. Shang-Chi, power must be controlled. Very important card to have in this deck. You could potentially think about replacing Shang-Chi depending on what you're doing, because of the chaotic nature of this deck. That might be something, but I think you always have to have Shang-Chi. And then if you find you're not playing Shang-Chi a lot because of the other cards in your deck, that's when you think about replacing it. But yeah, You can play Shang-Chi, of course, and again, Zabu getting it to 3 cost, very useful. But yeah, Shang-Chi, very good card still. And then Sentry, yes, obviously 4/9, excellent stats. And then moving the Void over to the right lane that you can either, again, go through those steps. You can get it off the board, you can send it over to the other side with a Nihilus, you can upgrade it with Polymorph or Sersei. And that's generally just a very good combo to have. So yeah, Sentry, very good card in this deck. And then Sersei, yeah, I really like Sersei. I know she's very random, I know sometimes she screws you over, but yeah, I think with all the options you have in this deck, Sersei is very, very good. I like Sersei here. And then a Nihilus. A Nihilus could potentially be something else, because you do have these other options for getting the cards off the board. You don't necessarily need to send them over with a Nihilus, but obviously, yes, if you're not seeing those other cards, a Nihilus is good to have. You could potentially switch a Nihilus for something like a Sasquatch or a Mockingbird, because if you are playing Mysterio, that gives you the option to get those cards out earlier. But yeah, obviously, if you are playing this kind of junk archetype, you probably do need a Nihilus. But I just do think there are other options if you don't have them. So yeah, that's the deck. Yeah, this one not as strong as the first deck, I do have to say, but this is a lot of fun. You will see in the gameplay highlights there's some crazy things that happen with this deck, and it's not always good, but it is always entertaining with a Sersei deck. So yeah, I do like playing these kind of decks, but they're not always the most reliable. So yeah, if you do want a reliable deck, definitely stick with the first one. So yeah, please enjoy these gameplay highlights. There's a lot of good things and entertaining things to see here. I think you'll like them. So yeah, please remember to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any videos. I've tried to bring you as many decks as I can every week. So yeah, 2 videos this week with 3 decks for you in total. Yeah, hopefully you will find something good to play in those. So yeah, if you're playing these decks, let me know how you get on down below. Like and comment, subscribe, all of that stuff. Trying to grow the channel as much as possible. And yeah, good luck on ladder. Cheers. Cool, we've got Hazmat, Diamondback and Laufey. Right, Daily Bugle is obviously going to give them one of those cards as well. So we know they have Brood. So Brood is potentially interesting in Man-Thing lanes. Even Laufey lanes as well, actually. If you can get Scorpion next turn, that would be great. I mean, Zabu's not terrible if we do pull it, because we still have Man-Thing and Anti-Venom. Miniaturized Lab, okay, so it's no for the Luke Cage. So now this is where we're relying now on turns 3, 4, 5 and 6. And this is kind of a hand buff deck by the looks of it. So we just need to be careful about what we're playing. So we know they've got Brood. If they do play the Brood here, we can Diamondback into Laufey. That's pretty good power. It's Cassandra Nova. Instead then, we can pivot and we can play Omega Sentinel, because Omega Sentinel is right now more likely to hit the Cassandra Nova. And then we can save the Laufey as well for potential turn, might have to be turn 6. Depending on what they play. It's Omega Sentinel now. We're hoping they're not going to hit anything more than Sandra Nova. So it's America Chavez. Copycat. Copycat is Scorpion. Okay. Omega Sentinel will be activated now. Should hopefully hit Cassandra Nova, and then Diamondback will give us a little boosty boost there. So we will play Ajax left as well. USA Agent currently doesn't have any targets. It's Shaw left and Grandmaster. So now Shaw got massively reduced, but it still has plus power, which is really annoying. So instead, that's not enough, is it? Because they can't be reduced there. Even Hazmat Luke Cage. I mean, they're going to play Surfer, aren't they? And they've got 3. Coins at 2. Sandra Nova right. Yeah, if we hazmat into Luke Cage, we at least have a chance. But we're relying on... Is it Luke Cage? It kind of has to be Luke Cage. We don't really have much else we can do. Ajax won't get as big because we are playing Luke Cage, and I have played left and mid. It is Silver Surfer. Is Luke Cage going to win this for us? No, wait, hang on. Yes, we're just going to win it. So yeah, this is what you can kind of do. Final turn is these massive flips that Diamondback in particular gives you, because you're not... You could certainly do the math. I'm not good at the math. If you could work it out and do that, you have a massive advantage with this deck. Yeah, but... Yeah, sometimes it's Luke Cage, sometimes you need to not play Luke Cage to get Ajax bigger, but fortunately with the Hazmat taking power from all these cards, Ajax got big enough and Diamondback did enough here to win. So yeah, that's a perfect example of what you can do with this deck. Amiga Sentinel actually won us the game there, because the 7 power hit Sebastian Shaw, who would have been a 24, which obviously would have won. So yeah, Amiga Sentinel won us that game. Cool, we're playing against Petit Panda. I'm guessing it's Petit Panda, but it's Petit for me. Grand Central is going to put a card from our hand there, which is very, very useful for us. This is a destroy deck. Jotunheim's not terrible for us, obviously, because we are Affliction deck. Destroy only has Null, potentially Arlenzola and Death as their target cards for USA Agents. So I think we need to play USA Agent right. We do have priorities, so we can actually stop their Deadpool. We can do that. Oh, Anti-Venom. No. I was just thinking, is Anti-Venom going to give us 2 hits? But no, it's only going to be 1, because it's going to be this turn and then the next turn. So the same card will be given the 0 cost for it. So we are going to play Anti-Venom. Yes, of course we have Amiga Sentinel, but because we have our big cards of Laufey, Man-Thing and Ajax still in our deck, we have a good chance of pulling one of those cards as a 0 cost. The other ones are Zabu and Scorpion though. So this is very much a top and bottom risk. But we've got 3 big cards compared to 2 big smaller cards, so the odds are in our favour. Are the cards in our favour? Let's find out. It's Zabu! Okay. I mean, yeah, we might as well play the Zabu. Sure, why not? I think we could play Amiga Sentinel, that's fine. Because knowing that Grand Central is going to pull Hazmat, Diamondback or Luke Cage. I mean, preferably it's going to be Diamondback or Luke Cage. So I don't think we mind that so much. Because we have Zabu, I think we really want Laufey or Man-Thing. We don't really want Ajax next. Zabu makes Laufey and Man-Thing 3 cost. It is Diamondback, it is Death as well. And it is Man-Thing. Okay. So we don't have priority, they do. So if they play null, it's likely that Omega Sentinel is going to hit the null's power, which probably will be in Jotunheim. But if it's death, obviously they're going to go down to 11 power here, plus Diamondback. This is interesting. What do we do? It's Hazmat, Luke Cage, and Man Thing. We don't have Ajax, so potentially we don't need to play Luke Cage. But then we are relying on the Omega Sentinel hitting the death and getting that. Although Hazmat is obviously going to hit, we've got more cards on the board than they do. So I think we do this. Although I'm not certain, but let's give it a go. Is it null mid? It's null mid. I think we're good. It's only 9. Yeah, brilliant. And Luke Cage mops it up. Perfect. Yeah, another turn 6 swing for us with that Hazmat Luke Cage combo. Omega Sentinel mate won us that game again. Obviously, if the null would have been bigger, that would have been the target card, and we wouldn't have hit the death, so we would have lost that. It was good that they didn't get to destroy as much as we wanted, as they wanted. But yeah, when it hits, Omega Sentinel is really, really good. And yeah, this deck obviously has the tech to kind of deal with if they're not getting their power in the other lanes. This is where this deck capitalizes. So yeah, very good. Okay, so Anti-Venom, Laufey, and Man Thing. So Zabu would only have Omega Sentinel as a target. This is our top 4 power cards in our deck that we've got in our first 4 cards. So we need something a bit better. Genosha's not great for us, is it really? We can put 4 cost cards there that will survive though. Does mean we do have to play US Agent Bright. Dazzler, this is going to be Zoo. Not the worst. Ugly Man Thing. Well, they're all bad. They're all bad. At least their Patriot went, so we don't mind that. But the real problem is obviously Man Thing works really well against this deck, because if it's an Ultron deck, then getting their drones to much less power is really good. I mean, we can't really risk putting anything else down now. We're going to have to put something down next. This is going to be fun. Yeah, Anti-Venom now. So we can play Anti-Venom and maybe something else. Armor, okay. And Ant-Man, so they are pretty good on the right. I haven't played anything else at the moment. Flame on! Yes, we might flame on. Red Guardian is only going to hit the armor, which isn't great for us. So we're going to go Ajax mid. And then we will see if Red Guardian can get some targets. It's Patriots, because they brought it back and they're about to play Ultron. Yeah, this looks pretty bad for us. Pretty bad. Yeah. They have priority. We have Luke Cage, it doesn't really matter which we do. Yeah, obviously Omega Sentinel's too late to make any difference here. Where are they going to play Ultron? They're going to play Ultron mid and fill their drones here. So we will hit Ultron's 8 power, so we will still hit the Patriots 15 power. Red Guardian goes back up to 9, and then depending on how many hits Laufey can get, it's going to be 4. I'm going to see it out. I can't do the math. It's Ultron, isn't it? Of course it is. Ultron decks always draw Ultron. So Red Guardian hits Patriot. Laufey hits Genosha. Ajax goes up, Zabu as well. Yeah, cool. Cool. I wasn't sure how that was going to go. If we... I thought we'd win mid, but I wasn't sure about left. But obviously that is plenty of power. And yeah, getting that Patriot with Red Guardian really good. Yeah, obviously we were nowhere near winning right. But yeah, these cards did the job left. So yeah, great. Cool, against Dan Hip Enjoyer. Give him a bump. Camartage for this deck is potentially very good because we have Zabu. Obviously we play now with targets of Man-Thing and Amiga Sentinel. We also have Laufey, we also have Red Guardian, we also have Hazmat and Scorpion as well. So this could be interesting. Ongoings mid, also potentially interesting for us. Project Pegasus, okay, right. They have priority. I think for now, we're just going to go Scorpion into Camartage to get that double effect of affecting their hand. Got 5 cards in the hand at the moment. Anti-Venom getting us a card as well should be good for 0. It's Hydra Stomper. Potentially Red Guardian target depending on what happens. Although Hydra Stomper may now be out of our range. Okay, yep. And because it's ongoing, it's going to proc the cards around it. So Scorpion will do its job. Anti-Venom, what can we get for free? Anti-Venom gives us Luke Cage. That's always good, we don't mind that. So... we can't say no to the double hit of Laufey, because it's going to be at least 1 card. Obviously, the only problem is, are they going to move something out that we don't potentially want? And do we play Luke Cage now? We could do. It will give us extra power for Anti-Venom. So I don't think we mind doing that now. That's okay. It's Silk. And it's Nocturne. So Silk will move out. So we're still going to get 8 procs on Laufey. That's pretty good. And then Luke Cage sends us back up to 17 power on the left. We have the Ajax. We have the Hazmat as well. So does this deck run at Shang-Chi? Are we better off putting Ajax mid or putting it right to try and win? I think we go Ajax mid. I don't think we can rely on trying to win this lane. We've got to go with our 2 lanes here. Also be interesting if we can draw Diamondback, because then we can play Hazmat into Camartage and Diamondback into Smithsonian in the middle. Opponent retreated. Cool, so yeah, obviously we had the option of Red Guardian anyway. I think we still would have gone with Hazmat left and Red Guardian mid, just to get that double proc of Hazmat, but yeah, they didn't have anything they could deal with us. Yeah, nice. Okay, so we start with Ajax, Amiga Sentinel, and Zabu. Zabu is perfect. Do you know what? We might as well chuck Zabu into Tarnax, because that could potentially give us some more power there. Kingpins of Scream decks are not great. Vulture, if it's moving stuff, that's not terrible. Man-Thing at 3 cost is very good. It's played the Man-Thing for us. That's pretty good in getting Kingpin's power down. What can we do next turn? We can play Anti-Venom. We'd certainly like doing that. Red Guardian we can hold off on. If they do play Scream, we can then play Red Guardian to hit that Luke Cage. That's our target for Red Guardian. Definitely mind that at all. So because in this instance we have the Red Guardian hit onto Luke Cage, that is what we want to do because we are an Affliction deck. We do not play Omega Sentinel. Obviously, if we didn't have Red Guardian and something else, we would have played that card. But in this instance, yeah, we need to hit that Luke Cage. Because next turn will be Ajax, and then final turn we still have Hazmat. We can draw 2 more cards, and let's see what else we can get. Ravens, they are going to be looking to move stuff. We have our own Luke Cage. They want to move stuff into this lane. Because we are likely to have priority, what are they going to move? If it's Magneto, for example, they're going to move Anti-Venom and Red Guardian. So I think we play Ajax right. Or, Cannibal. Cannibal just moves Man-Thing. So we are still winning left lane. They've got to put 7 power there and trust in that. What we can do instead, though, is it just Hazmat into Tarnax? I think it is. And we can put a rock in there as well. I think we do that. That's absolutely fine. Yeah, they need Shang-Chi to beat us right lane, but we still have 11 power there. Is it 11? So Luke Cage, Hazmat. Becomes a rogue, that's nothing. Rock. Becomes a Sunspot. It's Scream. And it's Stegron, which only moves the rogue. And we are still good on the left. Or are we? Because it's Warpath. Yeah, we're still good on the left. So yes, cool, yeah. So obviously we didn't get to play Omega Sentinel in this game, but the tech option of Red Guardian, that's why it's in this deck. Yes, for the reduction of the power, but most importantly for that tech. Luke Cage is deaf to this deck, so if your opponent has it, you need to take it out when you can. So yeah, really good. Okay, so Jubilee, Mysterio and Shang-Chi. Vormir isn't... I mean, if we get a hood, we can drop the hood into there. Howard means this is possibly an ongoing deck. And it's a rock. Great. Let's play Surge here. If it is kind of ongoing Tribunal, let's see where they play. I don't really want to play in the Jotunheim just yet. They haven't played anything. Okay, so fine. Zabu will take the hit. They get a rock. So if they are playing ongoing Tribunal, they're going to want to do it in this lane. Okay. What will Jubilee give us? Jubilee will give us Lunar Snow, Omega Sentinel, Sentry, Sersei, or Annihilus. This is a risk. But yeah, if it is Annihilus, we can deal with it. And then we thin the deck a little bit for... obviously you've got Polymorph, you've got potentially a Sersei, potentially an Annihilus. Let's see what we pull. Jubilee, Omega Sentinel. So Magic, okay, so... they are going to try it, I think. Only got 3 turns. Do they have enough to do what they want to do? We hold off the Omega Sentinel because if they are now playing Tribunal, that's what we want to hit as our target to get their power down. You can also turn off the Limbo with Omniversal Presence. Right, so Sentry here. Not going to play Mysterio. Polymorph. Maybe Demon. Yeah, that seems okay. What is this going to be? The Void becomes a Death Strike. I mean, that's not really ideal. It's Jubilee, so they're going to try and pull something with Jubilee now. And it is Onslaught. Okay, so yeah, we need to turn off Limbo. Omega Sentinel will hit Onslaught, and then we are just going to play Luminous Note and Mysterio and hope to win these two lanes. Obviously, if they do play Iron Man, we've still got 7 power this lane. In theory, we should be okay, but yeah, let's see. We know what they're trying to do, is can we stop it? Obviously giving them that one less turn really benefits us. It's only one card. Limbo now becomes Xandar. Yeah, we should be good. Onslaught goes to 1 power. They get a Rock from Lunar Snow. And it's just Sarah. Yeah, not a problem. That is pretty good. That is, yeah. Merlin in particular, obviously, if they're playing Magic, great for shutting that down on turn 6. Omega Sentinel gave us a lot of power here in this lane. Obviously, we got the ham, egg, and chips in all 3 lanes. Love to see it. But in particular, obviously, yes, they're looking to play. We know it's going to be some kind of Iron Man power boost with Tribunal that they're going to try and do here. But I mean, even if we hadn't turned off Limbo, putting the Ice Cube into this lane only means they can put 1 card here as well. So it would have been very difficult for them to win. So we actually did have quite a bit of tech going on to deal with what they were trying to do. So yeah, this helps identifying your opponent's decks, knowing what they're going to do, and also where they're going to try and do it. Very important. But yeah, this deck, yeah, ham, egg, and chips, mate. Love to see it. Yeah, Nyla's Lunar Snow and Shang-Chi to start. Savage Land gives us 2 Raptors. We have a Mysterio next as well. I think Merlin would be preferable right now. We don't have any ongoing cards, so that doesn't do anything for us. Surge, I think we just go straight in with Surge, that's okay. So we can at least make maybe a Sersei cheaper, Sentry, Omega Sentinel. Is this C3? It's an Agent Venom deck. Could be if it's ongoing, yeah, we might be in trouble if it is C3. A 3/4 Omega Sentinel. Or we do the Lunar Snow to try to give them Rock. I think we have to do that. It's Athena and the Hood. So this is just an Agent Venom Bass deck, okay. So we do get our own Hood as well. And our own Mysterio. But we don't have any way to do anything about it. Yeah, Hood left, because then we can potentially play a Nihilus next turn, which could move the Hood over, if they're not going to feel that play any cards there. At the moment, Omega Sentinel is going to hit Athena, which is good, because that takes that power right, or is it going to hit some kind of Nova? It hits Athena right now, so yeah, we definitely stick with that. And we have a Merlin as well. This potentially wins us this lane, so let's go there. If we get Sersei, we could potentially do something here, because then we can play Sersei Demon. And we have the other demon potentially in this lane we can play. Let's see. There's only one card there, so we do feel it is Omega Sentinel. That's interesting. Right, what are we getting from Merlin and what are we drawing? Once and Future is rubbish, and it's Sersei. Right. We have priority. And the 7 power is going to hit Annihilus, which takes us down to 3, but still wins this lane. So in which case, we are going to play Sersei middle. Actually, we can play Mysterio and Demon as well. This looks okay, actually. Because, yeah, the Mysterio... Hang on. It's this, isn't it? If we're going to win this lane, we have priority. Hang on, let me just check. The Omega Sentinel could actually hit this lane. So I think we need to stack our cards. Yeah, stack the Demon and Mysterio here. Let's see if that can be enough there. We're obviously going to play 2 cards with Athena. It depends what Sersei hits now. Hope Summer's Valkyrie. And a Human Torch first. If it's Iron Man, so they win
Iron Man.
Mid, and it's a Demon. That goes to 3, so we still win that. Athena. Yeah, we win. There's a lot going on that game. Yeah, all spaces filled.
Victory.
But yes, I think we got away with that one. Not the best Sersei hits. But yeah, we were safe with the knowledge that we win this lane regardless of the Omega Sentinel target. And then yeah, we had enough to win right as well. So yeah, very good. Right, this is the fun deck. So Annihilus, Sersei and Merlin to start with Sentry. And yes, that is pretty good. Next Mansion is going to give us a random card as well. And it's Yggdrasil. Yep, let's go Merlin. Morbius. It is Morbius. So discard some Mojo World. I mean, we could play the Zabu and just bring it back with Once and Future. Yeah, extra energy. I don't think we mind that at all. Because we have a Sentry we can play next turn. So it's Lady Sif for Khonshu. So Mojo World. Can we get enough cards there? To We actually had a really good lineup with Annihilus, Sersei, Sentry and Jubilee. But X-Mention gave us a Modok. Are you kidding me? Ghost Rider hit Dracula. We get Omniversal Presence and we get Zabu back. Thanks, X-Mansion. You're the best. Unbelievable. Obviously, it's a discard deck, so Modok's like double pain. Cool. Let's try the next one. Okay, Sersei, Jubilee, and Merlin. Pretty good. Eye of Silence doesn't affect us at all. So, Jubilee is potentially a good Sersei target as well. And if we did Zabu, that would have been nice. Xandar. Okay, more power. And a hood. Let's Merlin in the mid. Let's Uncle Ben. If Exile is very good for us. So what we can do, if we play Lunar Snow, that means next time we have 5 energy, we can Sentry and Hood, and then we have Sersei for turn 5. And we can play the Demon as well, actually. So, yes, we are going to play Sentry left, Hood right. Next turn, we still keep the extra energy unless they do something to affect us. They have priority, so only question might be Lunar Snow, not Lunar Snow, Negasonic, something like that. They played a Hood, so they get a Demon. It's Loki. Don't see much Loki these days. Red Guardian hits the Ice Cube, so we don't. I'm just saying, can they affect that Ice Cube in any way? And of course they do. I mean, we're still okay left and mid, right? Because we can still do something, right? So we Sersei now, because leaving Sersei till the last turn potentially hazardous. You at least have one turn that if you can affect anything with Sersei, you have a turn that kind of try to fix things if you can.